Today, we are going to be decoding the entire rank structure of the South African Police Service, the SAPS. We're going to break down everything, from the constable all the way up to the top brass, so you can really get a handle on their chain of command.
So you've probably been there, right? You see an officer, you notice the stripes or the stars on their uniform, and you just wonder, what does all that actually mean? Well, those little symbols tell a huge story about rank, about experience, and about responsibility. And today, we're going to crack that code together. Okay, so we're going to start at the very foundation of the pyramid with the non-commissioned officers. Seriously, these are the men and women you see out on the streets every single day. They are the absolute backbone, the operational core that keeps the entire service up and running. Now, within this group, there's a really clear path of progression. I want you to think of it like the first 3 rungs on the SAPS career ladder. You start as a constable, then you move up to sergeant, and then to warrant officer. Every single police officer in South Africa, no exceptions, starts their journey right here, at the rank of constable. This is square one.
So, how do you spot a constable? Well, it's actually about what's not there. They don't have any specific shoulder insignia. These are your frontline officers, the ones responding to emergency calls, the ones conducting patrols. They are, without a doubt, the most visible face of the SAPS.
After an officer gets some solid experience under their belt, the next step up is to the rank of sergeant. And this is a really crucial first step into a leadership role. The insignia for a sergeant is one you'll probably recognize instantly. It's 3 chevrons. This is such a classic symbol of seniority. You see it in police and military forces all over the world. In the SAPS, it tells you this is an experienced officer, someone you'd expect to see leading a team or supervising a shift back at the station. Now, at the very top of the non-commissioned ranks, you've got the warrant officer. This is a position that's really defined by significant experience and often a very specialized skill set. And this is where the insignia makes a huge jump. The chevrons are gone and they're replaced by the South African coat of arms. That's a really powerful shift in symbolism, right? It doesn't just signify seniority anymore, it shows a deep connection to the authority of the state itself. These are your highly seasoned members, the top specialists or senior investigators who are handling the most complex cases. So let's pause here, because this is a really crucial divide. We're moving from the non-commissioned officers, the operational backbone, over to the commissioned officers, who are all about command and management. It's a fundamental shift from doing the work to leading the work. All right, let's climb up to that next level, the commissioned officers. This is where officers formally enter the management structure of the SAPS. Their authority is literally granted by an official commission from the state. As you can see, the path for commissioned officers is a bit longer. There are 5 distinct ranks that'll take us from junior management all the way up to commanding at a provincial level. We'll start by looking at the first 2 rungs of this new commissioned ladder, lieutenant and captain. Think of these as the entry points into official police management. So what's the new visual language we're looking for here? Well, it's all about the stars. It's another classic symbol for command. A lieutenant has a single star, and they're typically leading a team or a small unit. Add a second star, and now you've got a captain, who might be the commander of a smaller police station or maybe a whole specialized department. Okay, climbing even higher, we reach the senior management levels of colonel and brigadier. And at this point, the scope of responsibility just expands dramatically. Now notice how the insignia evolves again. This is really cool. We're now seeing a fusion of the symbols we've learned. The state authority of the coat of arms is now combined with the command authority of the stars. So a colonel pairs the coat of arms with 1 star, a brigadier adds a 2nd star, and that's a huge leap in responsibility. They're often commanding an entire cluster of police stations. Now we're getting into some seriously high-level command, reaching the provincial level with the rank of Major General. A Major General wears that coat of arms, but now with 3 stars. Their authority is immense. We're talking about someone who's commanding police operations across a huge part of a province, or maybe they're in charge of an entire division at the national level. This is serious strategic responsibility. And that brings us to the very, very top, the pinnacle of the SAPS. We're talking about the top brass. These are the few individuals who shape policing policy for the entire nation. The insignia at this level is completely distinct. It represents ultimate authority, a crossed sword and baton, classic symbols of justice and command. A lieutenant general has immense power, often serving as the provincial commissioner for an entire province. And then at the absolute peak,
You add a single star to that emblem, and you have the general, the one and only national commissioner, responsible for the entire South African Police Service.
So there you have it, all the way from a constable with no insignia on their shoulder to the top national leadership. 10 distinct ranks, climbing the complete career ladder of the South African Police Service. Okay, now that we've climbed that ladder rung by rung, let's just take one final look at the entire structure, all in one place, from the top down. Let's just run it down really quick. At the top, in the executive branch, you have the general and lieutenant general. Then you have the commissioned officers, major general, brigadier, colonel, captain, and lieutenant. And holding it all up is the non-commissioned foundation, warrant officer, sergeant, and of course the constable. You know, seeing it all laid out like this really makes that chain of command crystal clear.